Has been following SGA's resolution about the future of Chick-fil-A on ELN's campus. Last week, we brought you the news that Spectrum was postponing the resolution.
But now they resubmitted the bill to SGA, which will be voted on next week.
If passed, SGA will talk to the administration about removing the fast food chain. SGA Executive Vice President Connor O'Donnell says this resolution will have a huge impact on students.
Anything that we pass doesn't necessarily go into law or is enacted, but it is brought before administration and senior staff, and they do really take what we decide upon and vote upon into great consideration. So what happens on the 11th will be brought forth to senior staff.
With the presidential election only 36 days away, things are starting to heat up on both sides of the campaign trail.
Our Jason Puckett is here in the studio to update us on recent polls. Jason, what can you tell us?
Well, Katie, according to CNN, President Obama is projected to be about 40 or 50 electoral votes ahead right now. He's estimated to win 237 votes, winning the majority in states such as New York, New Jersey, and California. Republican candidate Mitt Romney is projected to win 191 electoral votes from states like Texas, Georgia, and South Carolina. Now, North Carolina is just one of many remaining battleground states which are going to be crucial for Decision 2012, since both candidates have a chance of winning the rest of these electoral votes. And while those are the current poll numbers, they could change later this week after the first presidential debate on Wednesday. I'm joined now by political science professor Jason Husser to tell us a little bit more about what to expect this Wednesday. Thanks so much, Professor Husser, for being here. What are we expecting to hear from these candidates on Wednesday?
During the debates?
Yes.
We'll hear a number of things. We're going to hear very carefully constructed ideas about what policies that they hope to enact if they're elected or re-elected. So we will find out on the key issues, their positions. We're going to find out beyond just the issues, beyond just sort of this factual information, we're going to see how they deal sort of on the spotlight, how they deal in stress when they're put on the stage, what they actually say, what they actually do, and how they deal in times of intense pressure.
And you know, speaking of stress, I know Mitt Romney has said a couple times already that he's a little bit nervous about these debates. Do you think we're going to see a difference, you know, having an incumbent president who's been in these kind of debates before versus someone who's new to this like Mitt Romney?
That's one perspective, is that Mitt Romney has not been the president. He hasn't engaged in general election presidential debates. But I would argue it's probably the other way around. Mitt Romney has been in over 20 debates in the last year because he's been in this arduous primary process. President Obama, on the other hand, hasn't been in a debate in 4 years. So both the Romney and Obama campaigns are currently trying to downplay the impact of the debates. However, what we would likely see is one candidate likely coming out on top.
And you know, John McCain said earlier in this week that these events are almost so scripted. Can we expect anything crazy coming out of this week or anything new or unexpected?
We do see unscripted events happen from debates. That's sort of the purpose. And these are the events that actually influence voters. It's impossible to predict some sort of unscripted event. But John McCain is correct in the sense that these campaigns have thought of basically every potential issue that have come up, and they have some sort of canned answer. But the folks who run these debates do their best to make it where the candidates can't completely control the process. So there is some element of uncertainty, and I encourage people to watch them as a result.
Well, thank you so much again, Professor Husser.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks for being here.
Thanks, gentlemen. Vandalism at Smith. 3 reports from campus police show property was damaged this weekend. The police do not know who damaged the ceiling of 3rd floor Smith, but a source tells ELN Local News if no one steps up to the charges, the entire all-male residence hall will have to pay for the damage. That's a total of $500 in fines.
The Department of Justice's investigation into the Alamance County Sheriff's Office will now affect the county's prison. Joe Bruno joins us in the studio with more. Joe?
Steve, this is our second look into the DOJ's impact on the Alamance County Sheriff's Office. Since the investigation, the county lost its access to what some call its most critical immigration tool.
This license don't mind because I am an ugly woman. And put a line like that on my face and said, "You are ugly."
Suyapa Maya Guevara is one of several Latinos who spoke out against the Alamance County Sheriff's Office Friday. She claims an ACSO officer insulted her at a checkpoint.
Finally, I showed my government ID with my picture. He said, "Oh, you are citizen like me?" You don't have problems. You go home.
People are afraid to make any unnecessary trips.
Marty Rosenbluth is an immigration attorney from Durham. He has represented undocumented immigrants for 5 years.
I think it's no question that they see these policies as being racist, even though I'm sure, Sheriff Johnson sees himself as being a nice guy.
After a Department of Justice investigation into the sheriff's office, the county's 287G program will no longer exist. The program gave authority to the local police force to identify inmates who are in the country illegally and to begin their deportation proceedings. Sheriff spokesman Randy Jones says it doesn't matter that the program is ending.
Basically, the 287G contract was going to be up in October anyway. We were in full anticipation that they were not going to renew the contracts because they're starting to scale these things down anyway.
Rosenbluth says 287G didn't always work like it was supposed to.
Even though 287G is supposed to focus on dangerous convicted felons, that we were seeing a consistent pattern of people being picked up for minor traffic violations and put into deportation proceedings.
The deadline for Sheriff Johnson to sign a consent agreement has passed. Since Johnson did not sign the agreement, the Federal Department of Justice can sue Alamance County. We will continue to follow this story and we'll keep you updated. Steve.
Thanks, Joe. Family Weekend came to a close yesterday, but before parents left campus, they were invited to coffee and breakfast at President Lambert's house. Faculty and administration met with parents one-on-one informal meeting. Dean of Student Life, it was a great way to end a good weekend.
It's a chance to kind of think and reflect about the weekend and kind of informally get to meet some of the folks that are here. And I think a lot of the parents enjoy talking with each other about their students' experiences as well.
The results from ELN's annual mural competition were announced at the football game on Saturday. 26 murals were entered into the competition and were judged throughout the week. In the end, Third Floor West took the win with their rendition of the Phoenix.
Another competition for students. They snapped photos with Instagram in hopes of winning the Office of Parent Programs contest. Students used the hashtag ELNFamily to submit their photos. The photos with the most likes on Facebook on October 5th will win ELN clothing.
On Thursday, we told you about Matt Bellinger, an ELN alum who hit it big time, and he's not the only one. Former member of this broadcast, Mitch Pittman, won an Emmy Award this weekend. The award was for a feature news story done by a single reporter. This is Pittman's second Emmy. He currently works at the ABC affiliate in Minneapolis.
Poet and author Maya Angelou comes to ELN Thursday for fall convocation. Angelou has published more than 30 best-selling titles. She will talk about her life, memoirs, and reciting poetry at 7:30. Tickets to the event are available at the box office in McCrary and are free to ELN students.
Coming up on ELN Local News, lots of options in the dining halls. One ELN student is taking advantage.
It's not easy for all students to find their way to ELN. We have a story on one student's struggles to get here.
The weather may have been bad this weekend, but that didn't keep the Phoenix from playing. Stay tuned for all the highlights from this week's games. The top goal of ELN's 10-year plan is diversity. Our Jasmine Turner found out about specific groups of people in that plan.
First in the Family, a new mentoring program at ELN, is helping first-generation college students transition into campus life. Advisor Becky Olive Taylor has a special interest with ELN's initiative.
There were 80-some first-generation students, and with the strategic plan, interest in increasing diversity, this was an area of diversity on this campus that I was most interested in because I'm a first-generation college student.
Olive Taylor says there are approximately 200 first-generation college students in the class of 2015 and 2016, but she says these students are no different than the rest.
One thing that's important to remember about first-generation college students at ELN is that there's no one-size-fits-all. They're men and women, they're athletes, they're non-athletes. There are various socioeconomic ranges among those families. There's men and women. They're involved in things on campus.
According to USA Today, roughly 30% of incoming freshmen in the United States are first-generation college students. And Anna Brambila is part of that 30%. She told ELN why First in the Family is important on Elon's campus.
It'll help a lot of the first years that came in really get comfortable with the atmosphere here at Elon and adjust, because it's really hard to do, especially if you don't have the same support system back home.
Brambila shared her personal experiences of preparing for college.
It was really hard. My parents didn't have, they couldn't tell me anything about how, as far as how to manage my time, how to deal with adjusting here.
Brambila found mentors in people like Becky Olive Taylor, who helped her transition and find her place. Brambila told us why attending college was so important to her.
I did it for my family, I would say, because I feel that that's the only way they came here to the United States, for me to have a better future in education, and for me not to take advantage of what they did would be pointless.
Now a mentor, Brambila inspires other first-generation students, and she wants them to know one thing.
That it might be a little difficult at first, but it gets a lot better. It does get better.
Jasmine Turner, Elon Local.
Elon Dining Services tries to accommodate students with dietary restrictions.
Some Elon students take advantage of the gluten-free options by choice. Our Carly Hilliard joins us in the studio with more. Carly?
Information on the gluten-free lifestyle has exploded. Many students need to eat gluten-free food, but others do it for health benefits. I spoke with one student who chose to eat an entirely gluten-free diet for 30 days.
Sophomore Allison Rincars was a vegetarian before she was born. Her parents made the decision and Rincars stuck with it. She's also tried other kinds of diets.
I've always been one to try out different diets or cleanses and things like that, because I think that it's really interesting to see what kind of affects your body, and I've always taken pride in really concentrating on eating healthy.
This summer, Rincars began the gluten-free challenge. She says being able to cook in her Oaks apartment has made the transition easier.
I wouldn't say Elon has too many options for gluten-free people, but you kind of work around it.
Elon Dining introduced gluten-free options in fall 2010. Celiac.com says that at least 1 out of every 133 Americans suffers from celiac disease, a high-risk form of gluten intolerance. In a student body of about 5,300 students, this means that more than 40 students are likely affected. Even though Rincars can't find all the food she craves in the dining halls, she says gluten-free substitutes exist that are worthwhile.
I thought they were great. I mean, to get so close to what's the real thing, I think that they've done a great job. I've enjoyed everything.
Rincars enjoys the gluten-free lifestyle, but it's not always easy. She says the health benefits from the diet made it all worth it.
Within the first couple weeks, I definitely felt more energized, and I would say just overall happier, and I don't know if it was just me thinking that, but I definitely did see a difference, and I say that it was the gluten-free.
Rincars is now back to eating gluten, but she says the experience changed her outlook on the lifestyle. She plans to try it again in November. But Rincars says she never cheated once in those 30 days. I'm Carly Hilliard, Elon Local News.
Coming up on Elon Local News.
Fair this weekend. Coming up, we'll show you more about the Dixie Classic Fair.
I'm Brian Mazurski, and coming up, I'll tell you what some students did outside on the last day of Family Weekend.
Welcome back to Elon Local News. I'm Derek Scully with your weather for this fine week.
It was a rainy day today, and it looks like the rain is going to keep on coming. Taking a look at tomorrow's forecast, we've got an 80% chance of thunderstorms, so that outdoor game of foosball might want to move it inside. The rest of the week, though, we're going to see less rain and that same inconsistent North Carolina weather we know and have mixed feelings for. With highs in the 80s but low in the 50s, I'd recommend a long sleeve button-up. Sleeves down in the morning, roll them up in the afternoon. Then ultimately get frustrated, take it off, lose it, and decide you didn't like that stupid shirt anyway. The weekend will be a bit chillier as fall finally arrives, discount candy lines the aisles, and spiders line your windowsill. I tried to kill a spider in my window the other day. I hesitated for so long, my toaster oven started a small fire. Saturdays will be highs will be in the 70s on Saturday, but Sunday the temperature will only get up to about 61 degrees, so watch out for those spider kitchen fires.
Even with the bad weather this weekend, a fair 40 minutes down the road attracted people from all across the state.
Nicole Bloom stuck through the weather and has more.
It's been raining all day, but that hasn't stopped hundreds of people from coming out to enjoy all of the fun activities at the Dixie Classic Fair. Scream-worthy rides.
You can have anything you like.
Entertaining vendors. More fried food than you could ever imagine. And even a swimming pig.
Talk about right there. Yeah, do it a little.
The fair is a place for visitors to try new things.
I've never heard of a fried pickle before. And people's come back and said, hey, right up the road here, there's a fried pickle, and they like it.
I got in the fair spirit. I played a guessing game.
Sweetheart, you weigh exactly 109 pounds.
Tried one of Gary's famous funnel cakes. And even got a personal tour of a sheep barn. What are you doing at the fair?
Selling sheep.
Give it up for Brad.
And one fair favorite is the pig race.
About pig racing. Will be number one again.
For a little bit, when I have like people in my crowd, I can bring just a little bit of sunshine to everybody's eyes, you know, make them smile, make them laugh, and that's what I'm here for.
But the fun isn't just for kids. Slippery Slide manager Chase Eldridge says everyone can enjoy the fair.
My favorite part about working here is I remember, it's nostalgic. I remember, I'm still a kid. All a grown-up is an adult kid, a grown-up kid.
Nicole Bloom, ELN Local News.
Some ELN seniors are counting down to graduation. One senior is counting down to a different date. Our Addie Haney has the story.
It's the director, Kevin Abbas. Beside him is Jessica Edward.
For senior acting major Logan Sutton, Friday can't come soon enough.
When Sam says, "Mom, look,"
that's when A Story of Home, the play that Sutton has been writing since junior year, will debut in front of an audience in the Black Box Theater.
And I had always, since I think second grade in Miss Farrell's class, had a fascination for Greek mythology.
The show is Sutton's final project for the Lumen Scholars Research Program and tells the story of Greek hero Odysseus, but with an interesting twist. Instead of focusing on the hero, Sutton found himself drawn to the story of an unfamiliar character.
The actor who I kept connecting with and empathizing with throughout the show was the actor playing Telemachus, which Odysseus' son, which really surprised me.
In the Greek story of the Odyssey, the hero Odysseus is fighting his way home after a war, but we hardly ever hear about his family. Sutton wanted to change that.
What is Telemachus' journey? What is his struggle while his dad's away? Because his dad leaves when he's a month old.
But while the actors will be telling Telemachus' story on stage, Sutton hopes to tell a story that everyone can relate to.
That's part of everyday Odyssey, these events that change our lives. But when we get down to the fundamentals of what we're dealing with as a species in our existence, it comes to be those same things.
Addie Haney, ELN Local News.
A Story of Home opens Friday. Tickets are free with a Phoenix card.
Performing arts students aren't limited to only McCrary and Black Box theaters. Brian Mazurski talked to a group of students who took their talents to a different scene.
These are the moves you would see sitting in the Black Box Theater. But this weekend, students in Elon Performing Arts did not have to wait behind a curtain to reveal their talents.
We have a gorgeous campus, so why always dance like inside in a theater when we can use nature and what we have?
It's called Dancing in the Landscape, a yearly performance at the close of Family Weekend. Each year, it's at a different location. This year, the Corey Business Center. Students focus on using the unique elements of that part of campus in their dancing.
It's just about us dancing and feeling nature.
Although they went from performing inside to outside here on the grass, the dancers say the purpose was still to connect with their audience.
When I am performing, I want people to just get what they want out of it. If they want to just sit back and enjoy watching it, they can do that. Or if they want to find a theme in it, they can do that too.
We're just dancing for you, and like some of us have a story in mind, but you don't have to get that. You can get whatever like it means to you.
Jason Iyer has directed the show for 2 years and says this style of dance helps students express their stories to viewers.
The audience are very close to them, right on their face, and so they get to feel and understand the connection that happens between the audience and the performer or the artist.
Through the dancer stories, Iyer says everyone can be impacted through the production.
This, I think, enlightens you in a way. It's a way of visualizing life in a different scope.
He says these performances bring the human mind, body, and soul to new understanding, and students adapt to changes like dancing in the landscape. Brian Mazursky, Elon Local News.
Coming up, maybe your parents distracted you this weekend, so we followed Phoenix Athletics for you. Stick with us.
Football team was back at it this past Saturday when 5th-ranked Walford Terriers made the 180-mile trip to take on the Phoenix and Rhodes Stadium. Take a look at this number 7, Eric Breitenstein, right up the middle. He would go all the way for this one, and that's a 90-yard run for the fullback. And this was just the beginning for number 7, 6 points on the board for the Terriers. Now in the second quarter, Walford in the red zone, but Odell Benton says no siree with this interception. Walford's next possession, though, same spot, different result, a TD for the Terriers. Elon's next go-around amounts in Wilson, finding Aaron Millette in the end zone for 6. But Walford would answer right back with this pitch to Breitenstein as he swings left and trots in for the touchdown. Breitenstein had 230 rushing yards in the first half, and he wouldn't stop there. At half, the Terriers over the Phoenix 28-10. And here he goes again, you guessed it, ladies and gentlemen. Eric Breitenstein for 42 yards. The Terriers would punch that one in a few downs later for the touchdown. Elon had some fight in them, though. How about Thomas Wilson and his boys trying to lead the comeback with a Chris Harris reception? And take a look at this. 2 tips, but into the hands of Aaron Millette for his second TD of the game. He ended up with 177 receiving yards. Now, surprisingly, the ball doesn't go to Breitenstein here as Brian Cass runs in for the quarterback keeper about 40 yards rush. Thomas Wilson would be on the bench as Mike Quinn takes a few snaps. Didn't work, though, as Breitenstein, again, too hot to handle for the Phoenix, as he sets the SoCon single-game rushing record of 321 yards. As the rain fell down, a damp loss for the Phoenix at your final score, 49-24, Terriers on top. Here's what Odell Benton has to say as he puts a tough loss behind him and already looks forward to the battle in Boone.
We, don't like. We despise App State. That's a team that we're reaching to beat. So we're just going to come in this week ready, and if we get this win this weekend, that'll be huge for not only us as players but the community.
The Elon's men's soccer team took on Radford in a non-conference game this past Tuesday. Let's take a look. In the 49th minute, you can see here Radford commits a foul. Elon visibly upset, but they would get the PK as Chris Thomas pounds this one home. His score would be his 41st career goal and 11th on the season. On the flip side, though, Elon commits a costly penalty with less than 3 minutes of play, giving up the sure victory. Radford would put in the PK here and force the match into double overtime. Both goalies, though, stayed sharp, and the game ended in a 1-1 draw. After a win at Davidson on Friday night, the Phoenix are now 6-2-1 on the season. Going into Sunday's soccer game against College of Charleston, the women's soccer team is 2-6-4. Struggling with some injuries this season, they looked for the win Sunday afternoon at Rudd Field. Now, here's a cross by Chelsea Stark over to Olivia Mackey. Mackey taps it forward and gives it the left boot for the goal, putting Elon on top 1-0. Ellie Sarasola punches this one out, but Chelsea Stark gets a rebound and rockets this one into the net, making it 2-0 Phoenix. Katie Murphy stays strong in goal and keeps the Cougars scoreless as time runs out in the second half, giving ELN their third win of the season. Their next game will be in Spartanburg on Friday night against the Wofford Terriers.
That's all we have for you, folks. That's a big run, by the way, by Wofford's running back. 321 yards, you said?
Oh, my goodness, Steve. Breitenstein was on fire.
That is pretty incredible. I think he's still running. I think he ran all the way back to Wofford, maybe. I'm not sure. That's pretty incredible, though. Thank you very much, Jimmy.
Absolutely. And if you guys want to check out, they're going up against App State on Saturday in Boone, so make the trip if you're feeling it.
Maybe. We'll see. We'll see.
That's all the time we have for this ELN Local News Show.
Check out our website through the week for all the news that matters to you.
Be sure to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
From all of us here at ELN Local News, have a great week, ELN.